Okay, so let's get into this. Today we're doing a deep dive on a really interesting source. It's the pilot episode of a fictional podcast called The Crown Fried Chronicles.
Episode 1, Greasy Chicken and Golden Hours.
That's the one. And, you know, our mission here isn't just to review it. It's more forensic, I guess. We're trying to pull out the DNA of the relationship between the two hosts, Sweet and Spicy.
And that's really where the material is just so rich. It gives you this incredibly detailed origin story. It's all about how their culture, their shared space, these really specific moments, how all of that defined their bond.
Yeah.
It's not just about what happened. The narrative argues that the setting itself wasn't just a backdrop. It was like the third main character in their story.
And they set that tone from the very first second. You're pulled straight into Queens with the sound design. You've got this this smooth, lo-fi, hip-hop beat.
Yeah, it's very confident.
But then, woven underneath it, you can just barely hear this Bollywood sitar sample.
Yeah.
And that right there, that's the whole story in a soundbite.
It's such a masterful shortcut, isn't it? That mix of sounds is basically the audio version of cultural fusion. It's telling you this is a story about two worlds merging, finding this harmony. And then you have the city sounds always in the background, a distant siren, the fizz of a soda fountain. It just grounds everything in that very specific New York second-generation kid experience.
It creates this immediate, tangible atmosphere.
Yeah.
And if we want to talk about the anchor of that atmosphere, we land right in section 1. The sanctuary.
From fried chicken.
Crown Fried Chicken. The source is so clear about this. It's not just a hangout.
No, it's explicitly called their sanctuary and their headquarters during high school.
Yeah.
And sanctuary is such a key word. It implies safety, right? The place where the rules from home or school they don't apply.
It's neutral ground, which is exactly what you need for a friendship like that to even start.
Yeah.
And the sensory details they use are just so visceral. They talk about spending their teenage years breathing in the smell of 12-hour-old frying oil.
Mixed with that super sweet lemonade iced tea mix.
Exactly. That specific smell is their teenage years. It's the scent of them growing up, you know.
And it's there, over a sticky table, that the real connection starts. And it's through, of all things, shared media. The detail about sharing wired earbuds.
Oh, that's such a great detail. It perfectly dates the story.
It does, and they're listening to everything from Jay-Z to Atif Aslam.
That transition right there, from a Brooklyn rap god to a Pakistani superstar singer, that basically defines their entire generation, doesn't it? It shows their inner worlds were already this mix of Queens and their cultural heritage.
Absolutely. And what's so fascinating is how that music immediately highlights their differences. It sets them up as these perfect foils for each other. You have Sweet, the NYC-born fast talker.
She's the guide. She has to teach Spicy how to order a bacon and gan cheese in one breath.
Right. If you can't do that, you're an outsider. She's bringing him into the club.
Yeah.
And Spicy admits his English was, and I love this phrase, experimental. So you have this dynamic, the fast-talking local and the wide-eyed newcomer, and their common ground is greasy chicken and music that crosses oceans. It's a classic setup.
But that perfect, greasy sanctuary,
Yeah.
it doesn't exist in a bubble, right?
Yeah.
Especially not in Queens. The second they step outside, they hit the wall of family. And that brings us to section 2.
The Pakistani surveillance state.
Exactly. This is where the cultural stuff stops being just background flavor and becomes the actual engine of their relationship.
This is the genius of the writing, I think. The story just lays it out. Being Pakistani in New York, with family back home, means you're living in a surveillance state. The narrator says, flat out, nothing can be hidden.
And you think that's an exaggeration, but then they give you this perfect, hilarious proof.
The anti-network.
The anti-network.
Yeah.
Spicy just mentioned Sweet's name to his mom, and she instantly connects Sweet's grandmother to someone in Lahore next to the tailor with a lazy eye.
Instantly. It means they had a shared history before they even knew each other. It eliminates all that awkward small talk you usually have.
Right. They were kind of pre-vetted by the network.
Mm-hmm.
Their families were already tangled up before they even decided if they liked each other.
And that pressure cooker environment, it actually forces them to get closer, faster than a normal high school friendship ever would.
I think that's the key paradox here. The restriction of it all is what accelerates the intimacy. The shared culture creates this immediate vulnerability.
Exactly. And a judgment is just as fast. We get that amazing detail about Spicy's mom judging Sweet's mom's cooking.
Mid-tier biryani.
Mid-tier biryani. I mean, that is such a specific, brutal, and hilarious judgment.
You can only say that within the community. But it shows they instantly understood the social game they were in.
Precisely. They had cultural shorthand from day one. They didn't have to explain the crushing weight of that one phrase.
Log kayaka hinge.
What will people say? To an outsider, it means nothing. To them, it's a lifetime of social pressure, turning every choice you make into a public event.
And Sweet got it. The source says she lived that same reality, just with a Brooklyn accent, so they shared this core philosophy, even if they were at different points on the assimilation spectrum.
It's so intimate, it saves them from years of having to explain themselves. And the story gives us the perfect moment that seals the deal.
Yeah.
It's not some big romantic thing, it's just messy and real.
The joke about the Desi wedding, a topic that is just so full of shared cultural absurdity.
And Spicy laughs so
A
hard.
piece of chicken flies out of his mouth and hits the window of the Crown Fried Chicken.
That's the moment. It is the complete opposite of a perfect movie meet cute, but it's the kind of messy, real thing that tells you a connection is legit.
It's loud, it's a little gross, and it's rooted in them laughing at the same culture that's watching their every move.
Yeah.
The flying chicken makes their compatibility like a physical object.
So with that very messy foundation in place, we get to section 3, the evolution of the ditchers.
Right, because at first, they're not a duo, they're part of this huge friend group.
The friends group, yeah. They're described as being 10 deep, walking down the street like a budget version of the Fast and the Furious.
So they were just two people in this big, loud ecosystem.
But then the narrative shows this slow, deliberate separation. To really build their own thing, they had to get away from the group. They become the ditchers.
Using all the classic excuses, I have to study, family thing, all of that.
And that separation is so important. It's a conscious choice to prioritize their bond over the comfort of the pack. And where they are is also key.
Exactly. They're not just ditching school. They're riding the F train into Manhattan.
They go to Soho to eat overpriced gelato. That move from Queens to Manhattan, that's a statement. It's an investment, you know. They're exploring a new world, but only with each other.
It signals that they're moving from a friendship of convenience to a real partnership. They're testing their connection on new ground, away from the anti-network.
And this all leads to the big revelation location. The moment it all clicks into place for them is on a rooftop in Long Island City.
LIC. Such a smart choice.
It's brilliant, because from there, they can see the entire Manhattan skyline. It's a literal change of perspective. They spend 3 hours up there just talking.
And the source is really explicit about the shift that happens there. They go from being the two Pockies in the group who like fried chicken to the two people who actually get each other. The view, the distance, it gave them the space to really see one another.
Yeah.
And I love how the writers handle the romance part. They specifically say there were no slow-motion pigeons flying.
Right. It wasn't drama. The word they use is just comfortable. She found the spicy to her sweet.
It's so much more sophisticated, I think. It rejects those dramatic tropes and instead focuses on this complementary stability that defines real relationships. They fit together.
And Sweet gets that last line, summarizing their dynamic. She says he kept her grounded.
Literally, because you kept getting lost in the subway.
It's perfect. It pulls this profound emotional connection right back down to a funny, everyday New York problem. So what's the big takeaway from this deep dive? For me, it's a masterclass in origin stories. The narrative uses these super specific cultural details, these very real places.
From the floor of a Crown Fried Chicken to a rooftop in LIC.
Yeah. And it uses them to tell a completely universal story about growing up and, finding your person.
And if you connect it back to that bigger idea, that paradox we talked about,
Yeah.
it's just fascinating. That surveillance state, which sounds so oppressive.
It actually becomes the source of their deepest intimacy. Because they already understood log kaiga kahenge, they could just skip all the introductory stuff and operate on this level of deep shared history.
They built a private world because their public one was so controlled.
It's a really compelling idea.
For sure. And before we finish, the episode does a great job of teasing what's next, which is so important for getting you to listen to episode 2.
Right, they mention future struggles, brown parenting, crazy weddings.
And the big unanswered question of Sweet's parallel parking skills.
It makes their relationship the central mystery you want to follow. But it does leave you, the listener, with a final question to think about.
Yeah. Think about those spaces in your own life, the ones that seem so ordinary. That one fast food place, or a specific park bench or a subway line you always took together. The places that form the foundation of your most important relationships.
What location defines your origin story?